Welcome. What's up, everyone? Welcome to another BRAP. It is Wednesday. So I had to look at the date real quick. I forgot what date it was. September 25th. I can't believe we're like at the end of September. Wow, this year has gone by really fast. So, but on that note, want to give a big shout out to everyone who's joined us live in the live chat. Thank you so much. Please do me a favor, not a favor, but a favor. Drop the link here in the live chat. Please retweet the link. Let everyone know we're live and on air, and or share it on your favorite social media platform. So big shout out to Brian East, Truth Serum, and we do have with us special guest, or I should say returning guest. Do have Ramon Terrell. Ramon, welcome back to BRAP, sir. How are you?
Hey, man, thank you for having me once again. Always thank you for having me on the show, and everything is going well. I had a fantastic day yesterday, and it was also the last puff of summer, and now it is soggy days and cold until the end of May. So it is just begun, but everything is good.
Yeah, what's the weather up like? What's the weather there like right now? This time of year, just cold, rainy.
If you're familiar with Washington, like Seattle, you got an idea of what Vancouver weather is like most of the year. So now it's it's not cold yet, but the rain has started. So like today, for instance, it's been raining like all day since I woke up this morning, and it hasn't stopped. So that's a typical day. I mean, sometimes you might go anywhere from 1 week to an entire month and have very little break in rain. I mean, that's just how much it rains up here. But the trade-off is everything is green and beautiful. I mean, you have mountains that have carpets of evergreen trees. I mean, you don't get stuff like that unless you get a lot of rain. So, you gotta. Nothing is free.
I hear you. No, but thanks for joining us this evening, Ramon. I really appreciate it. Considering the time difference here, I believe you're 3 hours behind me. I'm here on Eastern Daylight Time. Here on the East Coast of the United States of America. So, Ramon, I got to say something real quick. Metaphor ReFantazio, the demo's out. I downloaded it, and I know this sounds crazy, but man, just the opening cutscene, I'm like, man, this might be day one for me. Just off the opening cutscene. Yeah.
It looks really good.
Now, I am a fan of many of the Persona games, Shingami Tensei, and this is a game that is Atlas Studio Zero. It is a role playing game. It's just weird. Like it's from the folks behind Persona 3, 4, and 5. And if you play the Persona games, Persona 3 Reload just came out earlier this year. Persona 4 Golden was released again. I don't know if it was this year or the year before. Persona 5 is one of my favorite games last gen. I mean, it is, man, I look, this is probably going to be a day one for me. It's releasing, actually, the demo's out right now for PlayStation 5, PS4, Xbox Series X, Series S, and PC. So if you're interested in this game, demo's out right now. Definitely try it out. But the visual aesthetic, the music, everything is there for me. Everything that I want. Yeah, Shoji Meguro is the composer. I mean, he does some work on some of the other Atlas games. It's just, oh man, I'm just excited. I'm excited for this game. So
yeah, it looks really good.
Yeah, is this a game that's on your radar?
It is. I just don't know though, because okay, so Persona 5 was my intro to the series, and I had initially intended on getting Reloaded, Persona 3 Reloaded.
Yeah.
But my issue is I loved Persona 5 front to back, and I played the vanilla version. And when I tell you I was exhausted and wrung out by the time I finished,
Yeah.
like just the base main campaign was 120 something, almost 130 hours for me. And that's just like just the base, like not doing all the, a bunch of the side content. And I was just like, I don't know, man. Like, it was a great game. I take nothing away from it, but I don't know if I have it in me for games that long for the main story. Like if it was main and side stuff, then okay, then maybe. But I don't know if I got it in me for for game that long for the main quest. I think it might be a little too much.
Yeah, I
So
mean, I hear you on Persona 5 and I mean, I put over 120 hours into it, going into Mementos and playing the main. I mean,
Memento.
Memento, yeah. There was part of that I was like, okay, get me out of here. Minor
Yeah.
complaint in the game. I mean, there was times in the game where I thought it could have ended,
Yeah.
but the ending was satisfying. I love the ending.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Joker, I thought there's a oh man, there is a part in that main story that blew my mind that I didn't even see coming. It was like, what? Okay,
Yeah.
what? Like, I don't want to give it away. Should I spoil it? Like, I don't know. I don't want to spoil it because I felt like it was so good. I don't know
Yeah.
if you know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. Ramon. I'll say this: it's when Joker isn't holding,
Oh yes, yes.
and you're like,
Oh my gosh, yeah.
remember? And you're like, what? And then you're like, what?
Yeah, it was a really nice twist.
Oh, it was an
It really
amazing
was.
twist. Yeah, amazing twist. So just a great game, and so a
It
lot of
really
hype when they
was.
announced this game. When Sega Atlas announced this game, I was so excited. I was like, I can't wait to play this game. Clearly, there is a bias here. I'm a fan of the games of Shigami Tensei and Persona series. And so this is right up, if you like those games, I have a feeling you're gonna like Metaphor, ReFantazio as well. Um, but I'm just trying to figure out like, and it comes out next month. Actually, it comes out in about 2 weeks. What I'm trying to figure out now is, do I pick it up on PC? Do I pick it up on PlayStation 5? That's what I'm trying to figure out because I don't know how much more the game's really going to benefit from PC, just giving the visual aesthetic. It's got the
Well,
I just don't know.
well, my perspective on that, because I'm waiting to see what the like I always go to howlongtoplay.com to see how long the game is, and if the game is in the realm of what I can handle for a long game, then I'll probably pick it up. But um, given the fact that current gen games are 89.99 up here, and I've done it, so I mean no complaints, but PC is default for me because the PC games cost up here what a console current gen game costs. So I get to pay between 60 to $70 for a brand new release on PC, which feels great considering you know what I mean? So like if I have a chance to to pay that for a new game, then it's definitely gonna be PC for me. But um I mean, there's an argument for it either way because that type of game, I mean, whether you're playing it at 60 or 120 with that type of game, it's not going to make that huge of a difference.
Yeah, no, yeah, and I hear you, man. I mean, oof. But you know what? Hey, PC. I mean, you know how I feel about PC. So,
Oh yeah.
all right, give me a sec here. I need to do something here real quick. I'm tweeting out the link.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, this is actually a great week, I think, for gaming. We've got the Metaphor ReFantazio demo out. We had State of Play, which we're going to talk about here in just a little bit. We also have Tokyo Game Show. Xbox will have their Xbox Tokyo Game Show. I believe it goes live at 6 a.m. if I'm not mistaken. Let me just double check here.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. I definitely want to know when that is because hopefully I'll be able to catch it live. But either way, I definitely want to see,
Yeah, you can
what's going
definitely
to be there.
you be able to stream it on YouTube. The
Yeah.
you can watch the Tokyo Game Show's YouTube channel. But it is tomorrow at 6 a.m. Eastern time.
Oh, it's tomorrow.
So
6 a.m. Eastern. Oh,
that
okay.
would be 3 a.m. your time.
So I will be catching the replay.
Yeah, exactly. You'll be catching the replay. So, but I'm, this show's, we're gonna get some announcements from Xbox Game Studios, Activision, Blizzard Entertainment, Bethesda as well. There'll be some. The broadcast will also feature some new games from Xbox third-party retailers, primarily those based in Asia. Last year's show did include a pretty long list of did include actually a list of new titles that were coming to Game Pass and gave some first looks at some a few games. But I'm interested to see what they have cooking in terms of some of their partnerships in Japan, because I think they've done, in my opinion at least, I think they've done a better job cultivating some of those relationships, getting some of those games onto their platforms, like Persona. Obviously,
Yeah, it's definitely been improving.
yeah, I mean, look, they're getting Metaphor ReFantazio now. They had
Yep.
Persona 3 Reload drop in Game Pass, so they are making inroads here. Also
Oh
they
yeah, and
were able.
Final Fantasy 16 is probably going to make it over there.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Like, do you think I've read some of the forums. People are speculating quite a bit, and we'll see if this comes to fruition.
What I think, my personal, hypothesis or speculation, if you will, is that because with the new leadership and they're all in, they're like, we want to cultivate more better relationships, blah blah blah, and they're bringing over more games over to Xbox, Square SE, of course. So what I think, because if we look back at Final Fantasy 15, I mean, like, granted, the game wasn't very good, from all reports. I didn't like what I saw of it, so I never played it. But from all word, it sounds like it wasn't very good. But I don't think it sold very well over there. So this, I think that maybe
Yeah, 15
Final
did
Fantasy
15 didn't sell well.
16.
Yeah, 15 didn't sell well on the Xbox. But yeah, I'm sorry. Go
Okay,
ahead.
because yeah, so maybe 16 will be a tester, and then maybe they'll see, if 16 does well, then okay, well, once our contract is up and the last Final Fantasy 7 remake game comes out, then we'll do port them over to Xbox, like maybe the bundle, similar to when PS3 finally got Mass Effect. They got it in, they didn't have the first one at first, but then towards the end of the PS360 gen, they got the whole trilogy. It was on, like, I think, like 3 discs and like a little box set thing. So maybe they'll do something like that if 16 does well. If 16 doesn't do well, then I think it's anybody's guess. But I think they kind of have to, especially since nothing ever does meets their expectations. Whoever has the expectations in that company, they really need to repurpose them. But no, it's off topic. But yeah, I think maybe to kind of hedge their bets a little, or to make a safe bet, maybe they'll try 16 and see how it does, and then go from there.
You know what's interesting? I wouldn't be surprised if we saw 16. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if we saw 16. Again, we're just spitballing here. I don't want to do what other podcasts do. And oh yeah, it's coming. K-Pat. I'm not doing that. Just spitballing here. It wouldn't surprise me if it actually. I gotta get Nate here. Thank you, Nate. It wouldn't surprise me if. It wouldn't surprise me if we saw 16 come to Game Pass.
See that? I don't know. That seems kind of a.
Assuming Microsoft's throwing the bag where it makes financial sense for them to do so. I mean, maybe.
It would have to be a hell of a bag, because you figure, I mean, I guess whatever it cost to port the game, combined with whatever sales projections or whatever what they intend to sell or want to sell. So it would have to be a bag to cover the port and cover the expected sales loss for it to be in Game Pass. Like it would, man, we have no idea how all that works because obviously, they're going to keep it close to the vest, but man, it would be a big get, but I'm just imagining the bag for that. Maybe it wouldn't be so bad because the game is already released, so they're not building it from scratch. But depending on how much work that port would take, and financial resources, that could be a pretty large check to cut.
Yeah, and then I wonder, does it make it to the Series S?
That game on Series A.
I mean, I hate to say it, but I mean, maybe it will. Maybe it's ported over.
Didn't the PS5 like the whole reason why? Because I was going to get it at launch, and the whole reason why I didn't get it at launch, and I'm going to end up buying it for the first time on PC, is because I had waited so long. I had built a PC by the time, it was looking like it was coming over, but the PS5 didn't. I think I heard something about it at some points in the game. It dropped to like 720p in performance mode.
I don't recall. Yeah, but it had some issues. There were parts in the game where you had these big set pieces with, and you would see like the game kind of like chugging along. I mean, those like cinematic set pieces, boss battles, were pretty intense. A lot going on, very fast. I mean, it was just.
Yeah, that's going to be tough. Series S going to be coughing up blood, man. I don't know how that thing is going to.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that it's not possible. Maybe they could scale down
resolution
and things like that, but I don't know. Again, and I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what resources they have. I just don't know. I mean, I'm not going to say that it won't be there. I don't know. I would imagine it probably would, but again, I don't know for sure. But real quick,
oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I do want to introduce Nate, welcome Nate to the show, actually. Nate, what's going on, man?
Yo, what's up, Nate?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Yeah, Nate.
Man, I'm glad to be here. What's going on?
I know you downloaded Metaphor ReFantazio demo today.
So I downloaded it, but I have not started it yet because my best friend is at work, and she would murder me if I played it before she got home. So, yeah, that's on hold until later. But I definitely downloaded it. Yeah,
oh, man,
I was ready.
I hear you, man. Look, I played like 20 minutes of it. I'm like, this might be day one for me.
Yeah,
and that's just off that's just off the opening cinematics.
I mean, the opening cinematics are beautiful, though. I have seen that when the way it starts out and the way the story sets up. I'm already. I mean, I was already day one. You already know me. Like, I'm not playing around. Atlas everything all year. So, yeah, they seem like they nailed it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, so
I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. So Ramon and I, we're just spitballing about the Tokyo Game Show. Xbox has their Tokyo Game Show presentation at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. By the way, I'm not going to read that $2 super chat because, frankly, it's dumb. But I will take your money, so thank you. Look, I'm not messing around, by the way. Like, people come in here and say stuff like that. Like, that's not this show. It's not what we do. The mods are in here. The mods will happily remove you. If you want to have a good, mature, adult conversation, you're welcome to be here. If not, there are other shows you can go to where you can act like a child, and do your thing there, but that's not the show. But I will take your money. So thank you. So Nate, we're just talking about, obviously there are going to be some updates. So they're going to update some of the games that they have in pipeline with some of their partners overseas in Asia, third-party partners, and just spitballing here, man. Like, Final Fantasy 16, is it there? I said, if it made it there, I can't say it wouldn't surprise me if it showed up on Game Pass. So what do you think, man?
I mean, obviously, do you guys talk about it what leaked already, right?
No, I know there's a Final Fantasy Pixel remaster was leaked.
Okay, yeah.
That doesn't surprise me. 16. Again, if it showed, I don't think it's going to. If it showed up,
I don't think it's going to.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But if it did show up, like, it also wouldn't surprise me if it showed up and it was on Game Pass. Because you look at like Dragon Quest 11 was on Game Pass as well. Maybe it makes sense for maybe it doesn't. Maybe it makes sense for Square Enix if they get that bag. They get that bag of money. Maybe put it there.
I mean,
but if you were to ask me, like, Brap, what do you think? Like, I don't think it's going to be there. The Pixel remaster, that I did hear about. That makes I could totally see that. That kind of Square kind of putting smaller titles on Xbox, things like that. But yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was saying, I mean, their TGS has historically never been like crazy. Honestly, I think that was one of their bigger surprises. Was the Pixel remaster, because kind of every time they get one more thing from Square, Phil always treats it like a really big thing. Even though personally, I don't really see anybody purchasing that like heavily on that system, just because a bunch of older titles for $70 is not going to fly with a lot of people. So I mean, a lot of people are excited, at least as far as that goes. What else they could get? I mean, like I said, 16 is obviously a potential, but I think it's too soon. That's why I just don't think it's coming. At least not right now. But I say never, but just at the moment. I mean, they've obviously had a big thing going on with, like you said, Sega and Atlas. So I'm sure they'll show a little bit more. But personally, I don't really need to see more. I mean, like you said, the demo was out for Metaphor ReFantazio already, and I'm already day one on that on PlayStation, which is but I did miss the collector's edition that sold out like immediately on PlayStation 5. So yeah, I'm gonna have to do that digitally. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to that. I really don't see them going crazy with it. I know a lot of people were mentioning that they think Infinite Wealth is going to be announced for Game Pass. That could potentially happen. I still think it's too soon, but it depends on the sales internally coming from Sega, if they think it's kind of been long enough. Personally, I think they should let that sit for at least a year. There's going to be plenty of sales this holiday, and I think they could sell plenty more units. It's already available everywhere, so I think they'd be smart not to put that on Game Pass, at least until like summer next year. But yeah, I mean, personally, I don't really see anything that we haven't really seen, at least not from them. I think we'll get some of the stuff from the third party on their own stages and so on and so forth. Like the 90-minute plus, for Kojima and stuff like that. I think we'll get more of that. Like, for me, TGS always seems to be more of an individual show, and not so much for the first party teams and stuff like that, like what they get are the publishers. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I've heard some literal crazy off the wall stuff, like people thinking they're gonna get a Blue Dragon remaster and Lost Odyssey remaster, and I was just like, I mean, there's no way I see that happening. But
folks just be saying stuff, man.
Just be saying stuff. So yeah, like I said, I don't see 16 coming right now. So, but people think because whenever Microsoft has a show, they got 20,000 things to show, and I'm like, it's not always the case. So I'm measured expectations. I just I'm waiting for just to hear Sarah Bond, do her introduction, because that killed me last year when she tried to speak Japanese. That sent me pretty hard.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was hilarious. I was like, oh, don't ever do that again. I was like, just stick to English. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really see anything crazy coming. So besides the Pixel remaster, basically was my main prediction, because I was like, there's no reason not to give that up. Like, it's not like it takes much to port it. It's a bunch of older games, and like, I'm not surprised at all. Then they're already celebrating in the streets, but I'm like, celebrating is one thing. Are you going to support it is the real question, and that's what's ultimately going to matter. Yeah. Like I already own them.
That's
So
the whole thing, man.
Yep.
Got to support the games, not just talk about how cool it's going to be and then don't do anything.
Exactly. But yeah, that's all it is for me, Brett, on that one.
Yeah, no, it's I think just out of because what I've seen in terms of progress from them, I do get excited to kind of see what else they have in the pipeline because I do think that's kind of been I do think that for me at least that's been a high point with Xbox and getting more the Japanese titles onto their platform. I'd like to hear something about Wukong if that's still happening on the platform. I don't know if we'll get that, but that would be a nice announcement.
Yeah.
But again, I'm just generally like looking at like what other games from Asian developers, publishers do they have coming to the platform? Because again, I think they've done a good job at building inroads there, getting more of that content to kind of round out their portfolio to their consumer base. So. Let me grab some super chats here real quick. JD Gamer with the $10 super chat. Thank you, JD Gamer. Says there's been a lot of talk about Pisser on Final Fantasy 16. So the question of the panel is, what are the chances Microsoft uses the built-in ML block on the Xbox Series to port over its own AI upscaler Auto SR? I don't know what the chances are. I know that the Xbox Series consoles do have, obviously I know and others know that it does have ML learning capabilities through Direct ML.
One would wonder why they hadn't used it up to now.
Yeah, that's what I was going to
say. That yeah. I mean,
I don't think it's going to show up all of a sudden in the fourth quarter. Because
that would have been a hell of an advantage to have over your competition if you had that to implement it.
Exactly.
Yeah, it does mean that the Xbox consoles can, the Series consoles can use some AI based enhancements. I don't know if it'd be able to fully support Auto SR the way that PCs can. So that's the question. And then to Nate's point, if they've had this already, why have they used it yet? That would be a question I would ask. But who knows? I mean, maybe they have some kind of solution they roll out later on. I don't know. I would just say I guess we just have to keep an eye out for future updates from them on whether or not that's something they do.
I'm gonna say to that is just don't bet on it, mainly because as someone who again has been a PC gamer for a very long time, Microsoft typically has to be forced to do certain things. We were promised direct storage years ago, and it took PlayStation pushing a similar technology on the PS5 before they finally got off their behind and actually implemented it properly on PC systems. So yeah, I just don't see them doing that, mainly because their behavior when it comes to implementing new tech like that, they just don't really seem to be enticed to do it, even on PC, which is, like I said, largely capable of it via just patching, and they still took forever to put it out. So it's I just don't, like I said, if it was possible, I think it would have happened already.
Yeah, so, and I think Auto SR for again what I know of it. It's just pretty much been available for Copilot PCs and just a curated list of games, a couple games. But yeah, again, I don't know if that's something that I think it's a great question. I don't know if that's something they'll do in the future. We'll just have to wait and see, I guess. So
shout out to Hero, by the way, my man in Australia. He already secured his Pro.
Yeah, when did the PS5
a couple
Pro,
people in there saying that.
Yeah, when do they go? When do the pre-orders go live? I thought it was October.
Tomorrow.
No, I'm sorry. PS5 Pro. It's tomorrow. Yeah, you're right. It's tomorrow for the.
Yeah, so it's tomorrow PS5 for everybody.
The PS5 Pro 30th anniversary goes 10/10, and then the other one.
Does it?
I thought it was 10/10.
So PlayStation Direct for Pro.
Direct. I'm sorry.
Yeah, is the 26th, but I never saw an actual date where they said they were going to separate the actual 30th anniversary. So I was under the impression that they were the same day. Now October 10th particularly is for retail releases. So GameStop's, Best Buy's, Amazon, so on and so forth. That's when you can pre-order from them. So yeah, exactly. So Street Shadow is saying in the chat that it's all together. So on the 26th, as far as I know, you can try to get the 30th anniversary tomorrow. That's what I was under the impression. That's what my friend's trying to do tomorrow. So yeah, I think all that is on PlayStation Direct tomorrow. Oh, Heroes getting the 30th anniversary.
I don't think I'm gonna pre-order the Pro.
Yeah, you said you wanted to wait, right?
Yeah, I mean, although I will say this, like Digital Foundry had hands-on with. They actually went to an event that PlayStation hosted, kind of a hands-on event with PS5 Pro, where there was dual screens, dual monitors, like one above. I think the top one's PS5 Pro, the bottom one was PS5, showing the same games. You could see the differences. Some of the games that they showed looked pretty good. I was kind of impressed with some of the performance of the games running on PS5 Pro.
I've loved what I've seen. So I mean, the initial image that he put on Twitter, John Linneman, when he first was doing it, before they even got this recent hands-on preview, where he showed the clarity, because he was talking about image quality difference of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and it's like one literally just looks fuzzy and completely out of focus, and the other one looks like you took it with a modern day high-end camera and it's completely in focus and beautiful. Like, that was a massive difference, and that is what the game running at 60 and looking better than the quality mode. So he was actually comparing it to the quality mode on the current PS5. So it was a massive difference.
Yeah, no, it's a great point there, Nate. And just kind of summarize Digital Foundry's PS5 Pro hands-on impressions with the 11 games tested. They said if you're a performance mode player, the console feels worth the price, as games get significant upgrades in image quality at 60 FPS, plus better visuals and extra ray tracing features like slotting in a PC GPU that's a tier or two newer. One of the things that really impressed me, and I mentioned this to Game Logic, I'm not a big racing fan, but watching F1, Digital Foundry said it almost feels like a generational leap in image quality. It delivers 4K 60 FPS with multiple ray tracing effects like dynamic diffuse global illumination, plus RTAO, ray tracing transparency, ray tracing opaque reflections. The game looked, I mean, like I was looking at the side by sides. I mean, it looks significantly better. They also said Hogwarts Legacy looks significantly better than the base PS5. And let me read some of the other ones here. Dragon's Dogma 2, another game that didn't really that had some performance issues. They said Dragon's Dogma 2 rendered at 4K using Pisser sees much improved frame rates in the 50s and the city areas versus 30s and low 40s on base PS5 within PS5 Pro's VAR window, which should reduce judder and look smoother. Final Fantasy Rebirth looks as good or better at 60 FPS in quality mode on base PS5. Spider-Man 2 and Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart both received new Performance Pro modes, which adds more detail, unless I can never pronounce this word, or aliased and more stable than PS5 Performance mode. Horizon's Forbidden West on PS5 Pro also looks better in 60 FPS Performance mode than quality mode on base PS5. Both modes benefit from improved lighting, better visual effects, hair and skin rendering. What am I missing here? Regards to Hogwarts Legacy, big boost to ray tracing effects in Hogwarts Legacy 30 FPS fidelity mode, higher res, longer range reflections and shadows, plus benefits from Pisser upscaling. And the Crew Motorfest push to new heights looks way more detailed than the old performance mode with some rare artifacts from Pisser. So there's a video out, Digital Foundry. I encourage everyone to check it out. But I think what's their summary is really interesting. Again, they say that If you're a performance mode player, the console feels worth the price as games get significant upgrades in image quality at 60 FPS plus better visuals and extra ray tracing features like slotting a PC GPU that's a tier or two newer. Again, I know I've read that, but I'm reading this again just to drive home the point. I remember during the announcement, and this is kind of the frustration that I have around the dialogue around gaming, people tend to want to shit on things before we get information, try to, for whatever reason, create these narratives that are fueled by anger and, just naysayers. And they just, look, I just feel like we're at a point now where, and this goes to the whole like woke thing, DEI thing. People just want to destroy games before they come out and manufacture narratives that play on the anger and emotions of people and monetize off it. Like, this is entertainment. Like, we have enough of that bullshit in politics. We shouldn't be incorporating that into entertainment medium or a hobby. If you don't like something, don't fucking play it. If something's not for you, don't buy it. But all this anger and the need to tear something down because it's not for you, frankly, I find very immature. It's stupid. And it really is getting to a point where I'm questioning whether people who do this really truly love the hobby of video games. Because if you do, you can be an adult about it and say, look, this isn't for me. But the constant tearing down and anger over things that are so inconsequential and trivial, I mean, it's gotten out of hand now, and it's just getting worse for some reason. I feel like it's gotten worse this past year, but yeah, that's just my 2 cents.
Well, it's crazy because like I see games all the time that I have absolutely no interest in, and it's literally like you just walk right past it. Like I can't think, like, even if it was in like a game that looked corny or eye rolling or something, like I literally like roll my eyes and you just keep going. Like it doesn't even occur to expend energy on something like that. Like, I don't know. Anyway, there's, I mean, we could try to rationalize for days, and then all we do is just take ourselves that much closer to an ulcer. You did remind me of something though. When I heard you, mentioning pisser, I just wanted to correct you on something. The homie Slow Mo actually wasn't the first person to coin that term. It was P-Rock.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
okay.
it was Puerto Rock. He no. As a matter of fact, on one of the DPS episodes, Slow Mo even said, he's like, as the homie P-Rock calls it, pisser, and he's like, and then and I'm calling it pisser. He's like, and if they don't like it, they should have came up with a better name, So that was kind of like a joke he mentioned on DPS. But yeah, that was P-Rock who did that first.
Okay,
and it's crazy because that term has taken off.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty funny. But yeah, by the way, we have about 83 people watching. Please hit that like button if you haven't done so already. It helps people find the channel. Appreciate the support. I want to grab these super chats here real quick because I am behind in super chats. We have Street Shadow with the $5 super chats is with Final Fantasy 16 and XB. What's XB? Is he saying NXB? Xbox? I'm not sure what you mean there. With Final Fantasy 16, will it make the money Square wants? He's saying with Final Fantasy 16 and Xbox, will it make the money Square wants? Will it get enough players from the install base on Xbox? I guess they will get the Game Pass money. I think that's an interesting point. I mean, I've seen numbers around Final Fantasy 15 where about slightly less than 10% of the copies sold for Final Fantasy 15 were actually on the Xbox One. Majority of those sales coming on PlayStation 4 and then PC. So yeah, I mean, I think it's a fair question. Is the juice worth the squeeze for Square Enix to port over Final Fantasy 16? Maybe not. Time will tell. We'll see. Unless Microsoft maybe throws a bag of money at them for Game Pass, maybe then if they make it make sense for Square to do it, maybe they do it.
I mean, given the buying power so far that they've displayed, they might have to throw money at them just to get it ported in the first place. I mean, that's what I would charge personally. I was like, you can cover upfront porting costs, and then we could talk about that other stuff. I mean, that's what I would do. from a
Yeah.
business
'cause I
perspective.
mean, well, when you think about like, okay, so the things that they have to consider, and there's very well could be some things that I am not thinking of, but they have to consider the port cost and then the lost sales if they bring it to Game Pass. But even if they don't bring it to Game Pass, so you have how many Xboxes like series combined? Is it like 30 million? Something like that?
A little over 30 million, yeah.
A little over 30 million. So then, but then you have attach rate. Like,
Hmm.
you know what I mean? So like the attach rate, I mean, what are we looking at? Would it be like what? 1%, 2%? I
Yeah,
mean,
I think those are realistic numbers. I mean, people don't like those numbers because they think it's a gotcha or try to get at them. And it's like, no, this is like realistic supporting numbers that have been the case for the system for
yeah,
multiple
for
games.
any
Yeah,
exactly.
so it's
Like
like
the
bigger games.
blockbusters on PlayStation have an attach rate of like that's like to someone who doesn't really understand attach rate, they'd be like, the 60 million consoles, they only sold 10. It's like, dude, that's actually very good.
Yeah.
It's attach rate, So I mean, they got to consider what the attach rate would be on Xbox, that you know people may go out and support it, but the history behind the platform isn't very uh as optimistic for JRPGs and such. But I mean, you never
Hmm.
know, they might show up and really carry it, but you know if we have history to go by, it's probably unlikely.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I always tell people, I'm like, look, if they really showed up and showed out and they went crazy, like companies are not going to keep that a secret. If it showed up on Xbox and broke 1 million, they're not going to be quiet about that. Like,
Exactly. They're
but
gonna be
we
thank you to
never,
the million players who
yeah,
purchased.
exactly. But we never really get that, right? Like, I heard a conversation earlier, like rather than being excited to purchase Infinite Wealth, which I did, uh, like they're already contemplating when is Infinite Wealth going to come to Game Pass. I was like, why is that always the question? Like, why isn't the question like, oh man, hey, there's a sale on that and it looks pretty good. I've been wanting to pick that game up for a while. I think everybody should pick it up, man. What a great game from RGG. Everybody should support. No, when is it going to come to Game Pass? Like, I was like,
Dude,
are
for
y'all
the
just like,
longest time, I muted the word Game Pass because I was starting to actually get annoyed. Like, you had this beautiful game coming out, and it's coming out on all platforms. Well, bar the Switch, and it's just like this amazing looking game. They're like, man, that looks awesome. Is
mhm.
it coming to Game Pass? And I'm just like, fuck, like,
Yeah, I know.
just like,
Yeah, same way.
stop
Same way.
it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was driving me nuts. So for like months, maybe even a year, I just muted the word Game Pass because I was just getting so tired of seeing that word. It's like, just if you're interested in the game, if it comes to Game Pass, that's bonus. But that, like,
Yeah, but don't look for that
it's the first
exclusively.
thing that you think, the first thing that comes to your mind is it coming to Game Pass? Like,
Yeah,
first party, of course, but yeah, like,
and to Brad's point earlier, like, yeah, I mean, kudos to Xbox, right, for putting in the bag and all that effort to get, the Persona series and the older, Yakuza's over there and stuff to build that fan base as we were told that needed to happen, right? But I mean, at this point, like, I'm like, the freebies are over. Like,
yeah,
Metaphor is not going to be on Game Pass. Neither is Infinite Wealth was the first Yakuza not to be on Game Pass. So it's like, look, it's time to support, man. Like, I just don't. It just bothers me so much as someone who understands what that support means for developers and developing these new games. And it's like, it just sucks to see that mentality from that side, because the question is always, why did you skip? And it's like, I always have to tell people, because we're a lot more knowledgeable about the development side of things. And I always tell people, I was like, I had a whole discussion on Twitter the other day where I was like, look, if a company only has enough money to put a game out, basically develop a game on one platform first and foremost, right? Now, if it does gangbusters or whatever, they're not tied to anything, they can do stuff later. But they have to decide where's going to be the best place for us, right? Where's the fan base for the type of game we want to make? And largely the buying power you will see is especially strongest on PlayStation for the majority of genres, right? And if you're developing something specific that you know is PC centric, you launch it on PC. Typically, sometimes early access, like Baldur's Gate 3 did, right? And that did phenomenal. But that's what I'm saying. Like these companies all have their own ways about doing things based on, number one, the personnel they have available and the money they have available. Even a company, like I said, like Larian Studios launched that game originally on PC first, via early access for a long time. And then it was first on PC, then on PS5 and so on. And it's like, I don't think people understand that, like, everybody's not just eating money, right? Square Enix has a very serious business problem right now. And it's like, just launching this stuff on there is definitely not going to just fix it. So it's like, when do you like, they should be very worried about them reevaluating putting their games on Xbox if they begin to do it like they have again, for these other titles, right? And then they see the support's not there and then pull them again. I was like, it's going to be very apparent and very obvious if that happens what the issue was, right? It's a monetary value thing because it takes money to make money in this case, because it takes money, again, to all that personnel, all that time in development, optimization, and teams to do all this work. And like, I don't know why people think that's free, or like everybody's just down to eat the cost of that. It's like, it's not cheap. It is expensive for each port that you port a game. Like, somebody told me something the other day that blew my mind. I asked them, I was like, would you rather get the game that you got, or, you know, as is, because it was developed, you know, they could only develop the game for one platform at the time. You got this amazing title and they brought it to other platforms later. Or would you rather them delay the game, spend a bunch more time in optimization and troubleshooting, and get a game that's like 70% less than what you got? And they were like, oh, they should delay the game. And I was like, what? Like this is the stuff we're dealing with. People who are willing to accept less of a game or a lesser quality of a game just for it to be everywhere. And I was like, I don't know what to do about that.
Yeah, I think there's some people out there, as Gabe Logic like say, there's people out there that treat gaming as a commodity, like pork bellies. Mm-hmm. I'm not one of those consumers. I don't want gaming to be treated as a commodity because that certainly impacts the level of quality. I don't want that. Mm-hmm. So let me grab a couple more super chats here, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Zach with the $5 super chat says, if JRPGs aren't on Game Pass, it's DOA. They put Final Fantasy, they put 7 to 13 on Game Pass years ago, and no one played them. I'm not sure what those numbers are, or how many people actually play them, but I'm not going to definitively agree with that super chat because I don't know how many people actually played. It'd be interesting to pull those numbers, but I do appreciate that super chat. Zach,
I was going to say, just before you go to the next one, okay. I think specifically what he's looking at, because this is the bet, because they never give you the numbers, right? But what he's looking at is the amount of people who got it, and then the percentage of where a lot of people stopped playing it. So you can usually get that, you know, hey, I got out of the first town trophy or achievement or whatever, and then see where they like percentage wise, see where the percentage dies, and it's like, okay, everybody tried this game for about 30 minutes and then shut it off. Like that's what he's looking at.
Gotcha. So, okay, yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah. All right. Twitza Sid with a $2 ship says, I was shocked when they showed Dragon's Dogma 2. He's talking about the Digital Foundry video on Dragon's Dogma 2 on PS5 Pro and how that game did there. So Donna Brown says, how about the Commanders? Yeah, Jaden Daniels looks good. Looks good. It's his coming out party on Monday Night Football. Great game. Street says his 30th is tomorrow too. So she's saying that they're pre-orders. I think you guys said that as well, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So it all does go live tomorrow through PlayStation Direct, and the only place you can get the 30th is via PlayStation Direct, unless you live in a place where PlayStation Direct is not available. So that applies to none of us. So yeah, you either get it tomorrow or you don't get it. So yeah, tomorrow. I think somebody said 7 a.m. is when it started, but I would double check them times if you really looking to push for it.
Just prepare for that website to be down.
The crash. Yeah. I really wish they would have done the 30th or the 30th anniversary like a day early, because then it would get rid of all the people who only want that version and then I could just casually get the other version, because now it's going to be like 10 times the traffic because how much noise the 30th anniversary generated. So yeah, I can't, like you said, I can't foresee it not crashing. I mean, it crashed just when I tried to order the PlayStation Astrobot controller. It crashed then. So yeah, I can foresee it crashing now.
I wish all of you who are trying to get one, may the odds be ever in your favor.
You're right.
Yeah. I wish everyone the best tomorrow. I will not be one of those individuals trying to pre-order. I'm good. I'm good.
You know, it's
I know you're gonna enjoy one later, Brap. I know you coming. I know you're gonna join the family. I know.
I mean, it really depends. I mean, GTA 6 could be that game that is a tip over point for me to get a PS5 Pro.
Okay. I don't blame you there. That's a solid tipping point.
The funny thing is, like for me, I mean, I even if I was tempted, it would probably be a maybe 40-60 chance that I would maybe tip over to get it. But the funny thing is the quality of PlayStation's first party games is the reason I'm not tempted. And what I mean by that is, never say never, but I've yet to they have yet to release a first party game that doesn't have a 60 frames mode that has problems with their visuals, like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and so forth. And they also have yet to release a first party game that only has 30 frames per second. So because of those two reasons, I don't have a need, personally, to get a Pro, because I'm happy with the resolution their first party games get at 60 frames per second. And I buy pretty much ever since I built my PC, like I buy 100% of my third party games on PC now anyway. And then on top of that, PlayStation is already getting enough of my money because, I mean, for instance, Ghost of Yote, they're going to give me day one. And then in a year and a half to 2 years after that, they're going to get me again. And that's enough. So I'm not buying their console because they got me buying 2 copies of their games. Damn it.
Nah, I hear you.
Yo, I had never experienced defenselessness in my life until yesterday. I felt so defenseless. And what I mean by that is when I saw the Horizon Zero Dawn remaster, right? Mm-hmm. Initially, I wasn't interested. I was like, yeah, I mean, I can, I already grabbed it on PC. I got it for like $15 and I can play it at 4K, damn near triple digits, right? So I was like, I'm cool. I'm good.
And then
but then I saw it, and then it was like, oh, those are Forbidden West visuals. So, but here's the funny part though. When they announced the $10 upgrade, obviously they're not going to mention PC because it's a PlayStation showcase, and I respect that, and I think that was the right move. But I was over here like, God damn it, like Key and Peele when Key was when he was the teacher and he kept mispronouncing people's names. God damn it, like that was me, because I was like, I'm gonna have to buy this goddamn remaster for like $40-$50 again, blah 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 blah. And I was like, and I have no defense against this because my ass is gonna pay it. And then I saw the $10 and I was like,
$10, baby. They say come on over, $10.
Man, I'm so glad Sony doesn't make moves based off of people like me, because otherwise they'd be like, actually, never mind, it's gonna be $50.
Yeah.
So yes, that was part of the problem. But yeah, I was very ecstatic to see that I could upgrade for $10 on PC as well. So
absolutely,
yeah, they got me. I have no defense against it.
I was very adamant about not getting it myself either, and then when I saw the $10 upgrade plus the visuals they showcased, I was like, all right, cool.
How could you not? How could you not? Like, how could you not, man? And you see people complain about the $10. It's like, it's not just like a regular like upgrade where like the resolution is a little bit higher. Like these are like, this is not an overhaul because that's a remake, but like this is more than just like flip a switch and then the resolution bumps up.
They went in. Like, I mean, I saw a comment from one of the directors that was like, we transitioned, a bunch of the effects and special things that we basically did with the engine in Forbidden West over, and then still touched it up and still did more. So yeah, I mean they put their foot in it. Like, I ain't gonna lie. So yeah, for
really
$10
did.
you got it. You know what I'm saying? I can't even get like a 10-piece chicken nugget meal for that at this point. So
really though, man, like, yeah, that's a steal. And I mean, for people who think it's unnecessary and you have a PS5, dude, like I've been saying this the entire since the launch of these consoles, that we're in a golden age of gaming right now. And I still believe that despite all the faults, because if you feel like this upgrade is not worth it and you don't want to pay $10, you still got the upgrade on the PS5. The visuals are the same, if I'm not mistaken, but you can play it at 60 frames. So you still can do that. Like, how much better, like, how, in my opinion, like, that's freaking awesome. Like, if you don't want to pay $10 for this upgrade, you still can play it at 60 frames. And the game is already beautiful as it is. But if you want this upgrade with all these new textures and everything from Forbidden West, $10. Like, just, to me, that's just freaking awesome. Like, I mean, you have an option for an improved game. You get it improved or you get it really improved. But either way, like, you're taken care of.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna have it, almost likely have it on both. So I'll have it on my PS5 Pro, and we'll have it, as Priscilla said in chat, who's my girlfriend. She's ready to play it on PC. So
yeah, see, my PC is always better. What's up, Priscilla?
PC, yeah.
Yeah, she a big PC
dude,
girl.
I'm curious how well I'm gonna be able to run it. Like, I haven't fired up Forbidden West yet, but I'm imagining it'll be close to the same, demand to run it. So I'm curious. Like, I know I'll be able to run it at 4K, but I'm curious to if I'll be able to get over 60 at 4K.
You have a 4070, right?
Yeah, 4070, and I have a Ryzen 7 D800 X3D.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're gonna be fine.
Yeah,
I can see it. Maybe with DLSS, because 4K is.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like, yeah, native 4K is hefty. So yeah, DLSS.
Oh no, there's no way. Absolutely. Native. Hell, I might even go 1440p if I can't tell the difference. But I mean, my card is a 1440p card, but it runs a lot of games at 4K, and you can get 60. Like, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, she ran one in the bedroom on the mini LED TV for a couple months before we sold it to somebody, and yeah, I mean, that TV's 4K. She was playing pretty much everything until very recently. When Black Myth Wukong and stuff came out. But even with some slight adjustments, she was still playing that stuff. And now that we sold that. Now she's playing on a 4080 Super. So yeah.
Oh hell yeah, that is a good card. But man, As far as Black Myth Wukong, like, I mean, I do it for every game I buy now. Benchmark King. It's just the word benchmark, and the with the K is a capital KING. This dude will do a full, like, usually his videos are about maybe like 16-ish minutes, right? And he does a full breakdown of the settings and how much difference you'll see and what the percentages are for each adjustment from low all the way to ultra. And he'll be like, so, for this one, I recommend you put it on medium because there's no difference hardly, or I recommend this. And then at the end of the video, if you don't want to watch all of that, you can go straight to the end of the video, and he has a chart of all of the settings, and literally he does all the work for you, and then you spend 2 minutes max, maybe like 2 minutes doing all the settings. And I use that for Black Myth Wukong, and I'm playing at 1440p with ray tracing, mostly around medium, because it's not a big enough difference to drop below 60 frames. Yeah, and I'm playing at 1440p, DLSS and everything. And my average is around 70 frames. Sometimes I dip into the 60s, and it's just beautiful, and it runs really well. Aside from the optimization issues, because there are some optimization issues like traversal stutter and stuff.
Absolutely.
B Money. Yo, what's happening, man?
B Money's in the house. What's up, B?
What's going on, fellas? What's happening, man?
Yo, hey, good to see you, man.
B, I'm glad you're here. I gotta ask you, sir.
What's happening, man?
What do you think of Jaden Daniels?
Man, highly impressed. Highly impressed. I didn't watch much of him in college just because so much, going on this last couple of years, just with my own kids and prepping them for college and stuff like that. So I haven't seen too much tape on him, but watching him in that the Monday night game, or was that Monday or Sunday? It was Monday.
Monday,
right?
Monday, yeah, Monday. Yeah.
Yeah, Monday night game. He looked very impressive, man. He definitely looks better than what Caleb Williams is looking like right now. So,
yeah, I mean, Caleb had his best game this past Sunday, passing.
Yeah. He had his best game this past Sunday, but he's missed a lot of passes.
Jaden has too. Jaden has the first 2 games of the season. He seemed to rectify that a bit this on Monday night, but I know it's only one game, but the 91% completion percentage. 2 touchdown passes, and
he looked really good, man.
Yeah,
he looked poised. He looked comfortable in the pocket.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. He made all the right decisions. When it was time to. I didn't realize how small he was though.
He's skinny.
He definitely has to get in the gym. You know what I mean? Because as the season goes on, you start taking those hits. You definitely want to be prepared for that. But he looked good.
Yeah, no, he does. He does look good. I thought it was a great. I thought it was a great game. I mean, I was really impressed. I was shocked. I didn't expect him to beat the Bengals. With the Bengals being 0-2, I was like, "There's no way they're going to go 0-3, especially at home with their backs against the wall." I didn't see that, but yeah, here we are. They lost. So,
yeah.
But B, I do want to go to you real quick. We're going to kind of switch topics here since Ramon had mentioned Ghost of I can't pronounce. Is it Ghost of Yote? Yodi?
Yote. Ghost of
Yote. So I do want to go to the PlayStation State of Play. I thought it was an okay show. Well, I actually enjoyed the show. I think the Ghost of Yote was the icing on the cake. I wasn't too interested in much of what they showed up until that point. The Astrobot free DLC, that's something of interest to me, because I'm currently playing Astrobot right now. So they showed that. They showed Midnight Walk. It's a VR game for PS5. It's from Moonhood Studios. They showed Hell's Us. They showed Metro Awakening. It's a VR game. They showed Arcade Chronicles. That's PlayStation. That's coming to PlayStation 5 in 2025. They showed Power World. That's coming to PS5 now. Lunar Remaster Collection. They showed Sonic the Hedgehog 3 movie pack. They showed Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge DLC. They showed Fantasian Neo Dimension. Game's launching December 5th. They showed Dragon Age, the Valguard. Some of the previews of Dragon Age have piqued my interest of this game. They showed Alan Wake 2 DLC. Remedy actually talked about the performance of that game on PS5 Pro, and that seemed pretty impressive. Hitman VR, Soul Reaver Remaster, the classic Legacy of Kain games. Lego Fortnite's, they showed that.
Yes.
They showed Dynasty Warriors Origins, Monster Hunter Wilds, Lego Horizon Adventures, Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered, Stellar Blade plus Nier. And that's that crossover DLC pack. And then they also showed the PlayStation Plus October game. We learned about the PlayStation Plus October games, which I think is actually pretty good. Two games to particularly stand out to me is Dead Space and WWE 2K24 for quote unquote free. But Ghost of Yote was the big announcement for that show. Sucker Punch revealing their sequel to the critically acclaimed, successful Ghost of Tsushima, and the game comes out, set to release in 2025, which again goes. B, you remember the slides or what Sony had said to us, that there weren't going to be any major tentpole franchise releases until 2025. Here's the first. What did you think about this announcement, B?
Well, we all kind of knew it was coming. It's been highly anticipated for a while now. We all knew Sucker Punch was working on a sequel. I'm just surprised that they went with a totally new character. Just because they had so much success with Jin, but I'm super excited about it. What they showed looked pretty good, and what it looks like they're trying to do is kind of set up some sort of anthology within this Ghost series that they're putting together. So I'm down with it. Plus, Sucker Punch is one of my favorite developers. I'm gonna be there day one regardless.
Yeah, me too. And I think I don't think I it would surprise me if we don't see Jin Sake again at some point.
Did you just call that man a drink?
Yeah, he did call him Jin Sake.
I just realized it.
No, I agree with you, Brap. I mean, I think it would be smart for us to see Jin Sakai again.
Sakai, thank you. By the way, I see. Now you understand why I call Sakai, Saki. I mean,
I get you. Yeah, but I wouldn't be surprised either. I mean, I honestly really I get I seen Gene Park and a couple of people that were like, oh, I just hated Jin, so I don't care. And I was like, I mean, cool, but I mean, a lot of people really loved him, and I really liked his story, and I like to see him grow as a character. And I mean, I think there's still plenty to tell of his story if they want to. I hope they do. Personally, I mean, him having to go to mainland Japan and go against the Shogun, especially right now for anybody who's watching the show Shogun.
Shoguns.
Yeah, you know what's up. So yeah, that show is fire. So I mean, if anything,
that show is so good.
So good.
So good.
Exactly. So I'm like, I could see them drawing inspiration from that and expanding into that world even further, going through some of the stuff with the invasion, and then honestly, man, I can see so much to do with that at the same time. But like you said, I don't mind the new. I mean, I was surprised. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I was thinking, maybe this was like a Lost Legacy type thing, or Miles Morales or something. But it's the full thing. And like B Money said, it's like an anthology thing where they're trying to. The ghost is pervasive throughout history, kind of thing. And I'm like, I'm cool with that too. Do I love it? I don't know yet. That's what I told people. I was like, it's nothing to do with it being a female or anything like that. So that was like weird energy. But it's more so the character. I don't know her yet. You know what I mean? Like, because people were like, oh man, how you feel about it? And I was like, I feel like I need to see more because I don't really know this character. How does she start off? And what I was more interested in was the stuff they released later, where they specified why they changed it and why they went that route, because they felt like they could innovate more going forward with the story and a new protagonist, and being 300 years in the future and stuff like that. So I'm interested to see what those innovations actually turn out to be. I mean, I trust in Sucker Punch to make a game that I definitely know I'm thoroughly going to enjoy. I mean, that team is top tier talented. But I want to see those ideas that they tell me they have come to fruition in this new Ghost. And I'm excited to see what they're capable of doing. I hope that I will say I do dislike the word innovation, because I feel like it gets used too often, and it's kind of like a catch-all word for like, we're gonna do something new. And it's like, but innovating claims that, like, especially when you're like, we're gonna innovate like never before, is like, all right, I don't think you really know how people are gonna take that on when you say you're gonna innovate that much. I mean, when someone tells me that, like, I'm thinking, like the first iPhone, like you're about to set the world on fire kind of thing. So yeah, I'm trying to measure my expectations, but obviously I'm a big fan of the franchise so far. So I mean, I got the platinum twice over. I beat the game a couple times. So I really just hope they take it to the next level with the writing, character development, world building, the whole 9 yards. I'm a big fan of all that. And so I just really hope they really give us all that in this new one. But I'm excited, man. They gave me what I wanted. I told them before the show, I've been begging for months. Give me Ghost 2. Just play the flute and put Ghost 2 on the screen. That's all I just need to know is happening. Like, so they gave me a little bit more than that. So as far as that announcement goes, I'm all in. I'm good to go.
Yeah, I think just having or like saying they're going to have, you know, innovations or like the phrase like this is going to be like our most ambitious, you know, project ever. It's like
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm tired of hearing devs, you know, say stuff like that. Just deliver a great product.
Exactly.
Like you don't have to try to sauce me up with all these little catchphrases to make me
Exactly.
you know feel like you're making this amazing product. Just deliver an amazing product, and everything will be all right.
Yeah,
Yep.
I always get nervous whenever they say innovation or ambition. Shout out to Broken Games because I remember thinking that, and then he was like, he's like, there's that word again, like ambition. He's you know, and he's absolutely right. But for me, I remember I was watching the trailer and I was like, that's not Jin. You know, so like they immediately like I was watching it, and when I saw that, and I was like, that is not Jin. And then I leaned forward in my seat because I was just like, okay, who is this? You know what I mean? So I was instantly intrigued. And then when I saw that it was a different Ghost, you know, I was like, oh man, you know, so they had me. Like, I mean, the world didn't exist when I saw that it was a different samurai, you know, Ronin. So I was I was all in, and the big reason why I got excited that it wasn't Jin, not because I didn't like Jin, because I did like Jin. I know some people say he was boring, blah blah blah. I mean, you know, whatever. But like, you know, I think Jin, let's let that man retire. I mean, he went through hell and back from childhood all the way through. Like, you know, parts of his family slaughtered, you know, went through all of that, and then struggling with what was expected of him as a samurai versus what, you know, what was right. And then, you know, having to go against his uncle who was like a father figure, and then ultimately having to grant, well, I mean, it depends on the choice that you make at the end. You know, I'm not, I'll, you know, I won't go there. But you know, the man went through hell, and then I feel like it was a nice cap off with Iki Island. You know, he did everything he set out to do, and his story, you know, his story concluded. And I feel like, you know, let's let him retire, let's let him rest. If, you know, if it was more Jin, would I have been happy? Yes, but I feel like, you know, it was a good, you know, it was a good end to his story. He did everything he needed to do that he set out to do, and, you know, he can rest. So someone else picks up the mantle of Ghost now, you know, whether it's a descendant of his or someone who carries on the legend of the Ghost. I mean, I'd be happy either way. If it's his descendant, that's awesome. If it's a new person who's just carrying on the mantle that gets passed on, I'm thrilled with that too. But yeah, day one. I usually say I'm part of the day one-ish camp because of, you know, technical issues and whatnot, but PlayStation I haven't experienced a major, you know, technical issue with a PlayStation game yet. So until they give me reason to feel otherwise, I'm definitely day one, not day one-ish. So they got me.
Yeah,
I'm right there with you. PlayStation is that Michelin star for me when it comes to quality. So if anybody's ever understands what it takes to get a Michelin star, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, jump in. Ken Kutagari, the father of PlayStation, actually is on stage right now. The keynote for Tokyo Game Show, officially kicking it off. So that's happening right now.
Hey, let's go! Shout out to that man, the GOAT.
Yeah. And actually, I did run a poll here, the live chats, as we're talking about the PlayStation 5 Pro pre-orders going live tomorrow. Are you pre-ordering the PS5 Pro tomorrow? 61% of our respondents said yes. 38% said no. So there you go.
Good luck to all of you. I hope you all are able to get one.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I'm gonna need that luck.
Yeah, man. I send out all of my positive vibes and positive energy because I know it ain't gonna be an easy time. So I hope you guys are able to sneak in and get your consoles, because I know how it felt, how lucky I was when I got my PS5. Have I ever shared that story with you guys?
I haven't heard it.
Man, so it was during the remember, because they accidentally launched it early, you know, Best Buy and I think Walmart or something. So I worked that day when they had the showcase.
Oh,
and so rough. Then so I got home. It takes me half an hour to get home. I got home. muddled around a little bit, had something to eat, and I turned on. You're gonna laugh. So I was new to the community. I just want to preface that. I'm new to the community. So I turned on MBG, and I'm listening. And then I hear him say, he's like, "Yeah, guys, blah blah blah." He's like, "What?" And then he says somebody's name in the chat. He's like, "What do you mean it's on for pre-order right now? Are you serious? It's on pre-order right now?" And so when I heard that, like, I ran up the stairs, fired up my computer, jumped on Best Buy. And when I tell you, I muscled my PS5 through the cart to get it to get it through,
to get it to stick in there. Yeah.
The site was like flickering, and like when I tell you I could see the blood coming out of my screen, that website was coughing up much blood by the time I finally got my payment through. And then just to see, because I had friends that wanted it, so I was going to try to secure one for them, and then they could just reimburse me. Site crashed. So I literally got my order in right before the site crashed. So shout out to MBG. I'll never forget. I got my console barely because of him, because there's no telling when I would have gotten it otherwise.
Oh man,
but yeah,
that sounds very similar to the way it happened for us. I actually had to work that day as well. It just so happened though that because of COVID stuff, we had actually just started working from home a couple weeks prior. So I happened to actually follow the person. I was mutuals with the person who found out that they were selling it early. So I saw the notification pretty much earlier than pretty much everybody. Like, so even Wario, everybody knows who Wario is at this point, Wario 64 or whatever. Wario 64, even the reason he knew it was on sale was because this guy posted, he was like, "Oh, I just came from GameStop," and he posted his receipt that he pre-ordered the PS5, and they weren't supposed to be live. And the moment I seen that, I woke Priscilla up and I was like, "Hey, I am leaving at like the moment I get off work," because I got off work in like 30 minutes or something. I was like, people are not gonna figure it out that fast in my area. So I was like, I'm leaving. If you are not ready, I will leave you. I am not playing. And because I never do that. I always wait. And I'm glad I didn't, because when 4:00 hit, I was like, "Okay, are you ready?" And she was still like waking. "No, I'm coming." And I left her. I went right in the car and I left her immediately. And it was a good thing I did, because when I got there were two guys ahead of me. One guy was trading something in, and his friend had just came along for the ride, and he found out that the PS5 was being pre-ordered, so he ordered one anyway, even though he wasn't even there for nothing. He ordered one. A woman walked in behind me, and she was there to order one. So the word was already out. So I came back to get her after that, and they were already sold out. So the one other thing is funny that you said Best Buy. The Best Buy site, I was actually happy it crashed. So it's funny because, and I'll tell you why, because it came back up at midnight my time, and everybody was caught sleeping. And I walked right through that checkout process on when the site came out live, and I got hers as well. So that's a story of how we got two day one.
Oh, that's awesome. I feel like there's a lot of really good stories about securing one day one. That's
Absolutely
awesome. I love that.
Yeah, I felt so grateful that entire next year and a half, when I still seen people like struggling. Now, eventually, don't get me wrong, it got to a point where I was like, look, a year and a half later, like I was like, look, if you can't get one yet, you don't want it bad enough. Like, they weren't that hard a year and a half later. Like, they weren't necessarily just in stock chilling everywhere, but like it got to a point where I was like, okay, you just don't want it bad enough. Like, you're not putting in no effort. But yeah, definitely, man. Exciting times. So hopefully, I have no idea. I do not have a good experience with the PlayStation Direct website so far, but hey, man, we're gonna try to make it happen. So
yeah, well, like I said, best of luck to everyone. Yeah, that's yeah. I won't be there tomorrow, but
don't worry, Brad. I'm gonna send you lots and lots of screenshots.
You know what's funny is I remember the PS5 kind of like that, how they announced the pre-order was very odd, kind of like at the 11th hour.
It was super odd.
It was like, oh yeah, it's going to go live in like 2 minutes. Like, what? Wait a minute. I remember running over to GameStop. There was a GameStop down the street at the time. It's since closed. Speaking of GameStop, I want to welcome Forte to the show. What's up, Forte?
Yo, what up?
But yeah, I was like, I remember going there and like I got there and there was already like a line. I saw people like running from their cars parked in the parking lot.
Oh man, not running.
Yeah, and I started running faster, and I think I was like the second to last person to get the pre-order in.
Oh man, good timing.
And there was a line out the door, and I remember they were like, "All right, well, we're done." So I was the second to last person.
Way to get in there.
Oh yeah, like people were so disappointed. Like, this is during COVID. We all have masks. Everyone's kind of scared to get near each other. It's like, yeah, I mean, it was definitely interesting times. So yeah, it is what it is. Forte, good sir. What are you? What kind of vibe are you getting in the retail space, man, with the PS5 Pro?
I mean, people want it. It just comes down to it doesn't go live, I don't think, for other retailers until October 4th.
October 10th.
October 10th, yeah. So yeah, it just really comes down to what allocation and stuff looks like at that point. But I like your story about lines, because I have an interesting story about lines that happened to me literally 20 minutes ago.
20 minutes ago. Oh boy.
20 minutes ago. So do we all know Crumbl Cookie?
Yeah.
So today was their it's go ahead and explain it to him. And can you explain it to him?
I mean, I've been there. I can't. I'll tell y'all what I call Crumbl Cookie off air later. But
well, listen, it's giant cookies that each cookie is like 1,200 calories.
Yeah, basically.
Holy crap.
Yeah, they're but like literally to the point where
they change the cookies every week.
So. Yes, they change them every week. Plus, it's like you literally probably got to cut that cookie in 4 corners like a pizza. So everybody can have a piece of one, just so you don't have a diabetes overload. But so today was their birthday, their official birthday. So my wife called. Well, she ordered some and was like, "Hey, can you go pick these up? I'm at work. The Crumbl Cookie by my job is packed." And they were doing a deal where you got the 6-pack for the price of the 4-pack. So they basically gave you 2 free.
Oh boy.
Man, let me tell you, bro. So she said, hopefully the line by our house isn't as long as the line by my job. And she took a picture of the line by her job, and it was probably a good 60 people in line standing outside the store. So we ordered them for a 4:30 pickup. I go up to the Crumbl Cookie. I was like, holy crap. Why is this line stretched in like 200 people? Something like that. Like that was this earlier today at like 5:00. So I go up there, say, hey, I go to the counter. First of all, I feel bad passing all these people up. And then these people was like, yeah, we're all waiting for our order. And I was like, you all ordered online and you're still standing in line? So I get up to the front and ask the lady, I was like, hey, we had a 4:00 order. It's 5:30. I'm here to pick it up. She's like, oh, did you check in on the app? I was like, let me call my wife. So I call her. It was like,
Forte,
did you check?
Real quick, I'm sorry. Real quick question, Forte. Are these like, I'm looking at the website right now. There's actually one, I didn't realize, I've never heard of Crumbl Cookies before, but there's actually one 20 minutes from my house.
Oh, but man.
Are they just like, because I'm looking at like, they have the original pink sugar, caramel shortbread. Is it just like one big cookie?
No, there's one cookie, but you can get them in like sets and stuff.
Yeah, you can get them smaller.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you get them smaller, but like B said, they change them every week. So every week there's a new thing. So they do have like some that progress every, like the originals that keep going forward, but they always have new ones every week. So I get up there. She's like, I call my wife. I said, did you hit the check-in button? She said, no. They just said your order will be ready at 4:20. Yeah, that wasn't the case. The lady said you had to click on the app that you're here, and then it's a 45-minute wait. And I was like, yo, so all of these people are waiting for these cookies. I was like, no, I told my wife, cancel order. We'll try again later. So she canceled the order. Dang. They close at 9 o'clock today. So So she FaceTimes me because I'm downstairs in the basement, and you know how it is. You don't want to yell 2 levels in the house. So she FaceTimes. She said, "Hey, you want to go get those cookies again?" I said, "What time they close?" She said 9. I said, "Okay, it's 8:30." I said, "Okay, yeah, put the order in." She puts the order in. I get up there at 9:50. I said, "Make sure you hit the button on the app that says we're here." I get up there, bro. It's more people in line than it was earlier today, and we're talking about like, dog. It was. I'm like, dude, is this a midnight launch? This place closes in 10 minutes. So I walk up to the counter, and the lady was like, "Yeah, there's still like, if you did an order like in the last 20 minutes, the last 30 minutes, it's still like an hour wait." She said, "We're going to stay open till we get everybody settled, but it's like an hour wait." So I literally just stood there and just got my cookies. I got there at 8:50. I just got home, and this place is 5 minutes from my house. Just got home 10 minutes ago from getting our cookies.
Hey, gracious, bro.
Good
Yeah,
Lord.
the cookies is never that serious.
well, I'm gonna tell you like this: if it was just me and my wife,
Yeah.
no, they're not. But my wife gassed my kids up, and and when we came home and there was no cookies, and they love these cookies. They was like, "Where's the cookies?" It's like, you don't understand. 45 minutes is a long time. It's an adult. So she was like, and they was like, "Well, can we get them tomorrow?" And my wife was like, "We'll try later tonight because they are a good deal." So if it was just me and my wife, these cookies would have been left in the dust. But you know, the things you do for your kids, especially when they're good.
No doubt. That's what's
So that's my story, my long-winded story about being in lines and being like, what the hell is going on here for 6 cookies? Basically, this line is longer just for 2 free cookies.
That's crazy.
It just most the same thing I've ever seen in my life.
Why are these cookies so popular? Is it because of like
they're just good.
Really?
I mean, they're good, but like
I feel like they're not that good.
Like, I'm not gonna like okay, so
cookies at home.
Yeah, I mean, you can make cookies at home and stuff and be fine. Like it's like the what do you call it? What's that cup that girls fight over? The Stanley cups or whatever. Yeah. It's like that. It's like that of the cookies. You know what I'm saying? Like they've made it it's the Nike of cookies at this point. Like the girls at work talk about it around the water cooler. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I went to Crumbl Cookie. You know what I'm saying? Like it's become the Starbucks cookie essentially. Like that's what really it is. Some of them are very good. I ain't gonna hold you. Like my friend waits every year to get like some pumpkin spice version of their cookies. And that's the only one she gets all year. And it's there for just 1 week. So like that's the other thing. So yeah, it's also the limited factor, right? Like I just said, like every week the cookies change. So it's like people,
some weeks are better than others.
Exactly. Some weeks are better than others. So that's why you'll see that.
I just saw one of the big cookies. Oh my God, it's huge.
Yeah.
Jeez, it's like a pizza.
Yeah, the girls at Priscilla's work, they love Crumbl Cookie. Like they keep the one down the street in business just off of them.
It sounds like the cupcake places back in the days. I know they still have them. You guys remember those, like the cupcake places? They would have like different flavors, and there was a couple. When I worked at DC, there was one in particular that was pretty good. I don't remember the Georgetown Cupcakes. I think it was called. It was. Really
I do think it was more because I've never seen a line like this before. I do think it's just the simple fact that it's the birthday. People like to do stuff like that, and the fact that people just like free stuff. And Crumbl Cookie, you got to think places like Crumbl Cookie. What is the place? The nothing but bunnet cake places like that, places that specialize in certain things.
Nothing but cake, yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, nothing but cake. Places like those places, if they ever do a sale where they're giving you something for free, people are just going to stand outside and wait for it.
Oh, I didn't know that Nothing But Cake place was like a franchise. I went next to one the other day, and people were going in and out of there like it was a concert. And
there's 2 of them in my area. No, it's 2 of those places. That's a dangerous place right there for cookies. I mean for cake, bro. That's a dangerous place.
That red velvet, man.
I'm gonna have to try it because
with that cream cheese icing. Oh my,
that's really good.
Man, it's so good. But
you know, there's nothing but cake in my phone.
We got some breaking news here. New York City Mayor Eric Adams indicted in campaign finance case. Woof.
Trouble.
Oh, really?
Yeah, expected to face federal charges. Yeah, wow.
Oh,
Damn.
wow.
I know.
So everybody here getting that PS5 Pro?
No.
Nope.
Brap said he wasn't gonna. Yeah,
I changed my mind too. I ain't gonna lie.
Gregor Vadu says I have Forte listed as nothing but cake in my phone.
But cake, nothing but a cake. Yes, yeah. I'll take it. I'll buy that for $1.
I can't imagine why you would get one Forte. I mean, you had a 4090 and PlayStation first party games always launch with a 60 frames option and the visuals always look good. We don't have rebirth issues. So
and that's that's part of the reason, I had to kind of look in the mirror and I was like, it's nice to stay current, but if I'm going to stay current, I want to stay current and use it and feel like I'm really benefiting from it. And not saying you're not going to benefit from it, and not really saying you're not going to benefit from it, but for the amount, the reason I bought my PlayStation is for God of War. I don't see another God of War coming this generation. So at this point, I'm like, I'll just wait till next generation when a 6 comes out, and then that's when I'll buy it. Because that's the only game that PlayStation really makes that I want to play day one and have to play day one. So I don't really see I hate to say not see the benefits because I see the benefit of it. It's just that, like you said, with having a PC, with playing most of my games now, they used to be Xbox third party. Now I play on PC third party. My kids really don't care about the uplift in performance, especially when all the games that PlayStation they make it quality, they look good, they play good. They don't care about 45 frames per second, in the games and stuff. They barely even mess with the settings in general. They just jump in, pick a difficulty and just go. For me, it's like, I just $300 actually just, for me, it'll be like $300 to upgrade. And then, I'm like on the fence because it's enticing, but then when I think about it, I'm like, bro, I'm just really just buying this just for a flex.
Pretty much. I mean,
literally, that's what it is. I mean, you're buying it for a flex, and my flex I already did earlier this year when I bought that 4090. I'm flexed out.
You know what? Yeah, exactly. It's. I mean, just I'm speaking factually, and there's not shade, but. It's a better flex. I mean, it's a 4090, right?
Right.
But the funny thing is even if I was tempted, one thing that would actually make the temptation diminish for me is if I was, because I would need the physical disk drive. So if I was to get the PS5 Pro with the physical disk drive and the stand, I don't have room to stand it upright ever since I had to put, my PC where my PS5 used to be. But with all of that, what it costs up here, I literally spent roughly about $700 more for my complete PC as what the PS5 Pro would cost me. Now, obviously, $700 more is still a lot.
Yeah, it's still a lot.
But when considering if I was going to, because with trade-in, I would probably still be spending probably $700 if I was going to get a Pro. I could literally, that 700, I'd probably put several $100s more and just go 4080 Super. That would be more my temptation. But I also don't want to be strangled, so I'm just not going to do that right now.
Right, and I think the only caveat I will put on this, because like I said, this is just basically for this year and right now. A lot could change in a year because depending on what Grand Theft Auto does next year and how because I'm going to keep my Xbox and I'm going to keep my PlayStation. As of right now, of my consoles, my Xbox Series X is the more powerful one. So if I did buy Grand Theft Auto, it would be on that system right now. But if for some reason, well, I'm not going to say for some reason, because it probably will be. if Grand Theft Auto 6 is that much better, like it don't have to be, it could be slightly better on a PS5 or the PS5 Pro. I'll probably still buy it on my Series X as long as it's not like drastically better. If it's like drastically better, then I might break and buy a PS5 Pro, because I don't know how long it's going to take for Rockstar to bring that to PC. Maybe a year, probably 2. So, you know, that would be probably the only indicator that would make me do it at that point. But outside of that being the game, I'll just stick with what I have. Slow-mo, I knew you was going to come in here. You know, you heard us talking
what's
about.
Up?
Slow-mo heard us talking about. Slow-mo's heard us talk about PS5 Pros and getting and not getting.
Slow-mo's heard us talking about Cookie Crumbl.
Oh yeah, Cookie Crumbles. Yeah, listen, I know he loves.
I have no idea what that is.
Slow-mo's like, I want to get some Cookie Crumbl right now. He's probably eating Cookie Crumbl.
Don't look at their website, then, and you, if you don't want to know what it is.
Yeah, what's going on, Slow-mo? Slow-mo, welcome to the show, sir. We've missed you. How are you?
Doing pretty good.
He sounds so much better.
Up. Thank you.
Yeah, I was gonna say you sound a lot better.
Yeah, he sounded good, man.
Sound like a person that used to bark at cars like Martin Lawrence. All cleared up.
What in the world?
What are you talking about?
Yeah, Forte always got the crazy say.
Well, yeah, you remember you remember Martin Lawrence is out. They said Martin Lawrence is out there cussing and barking at cars in the street.
He was all high or something. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Slow-mo, his lungs, his mouth done cleared up enough so he could do it. That's all I'm saying. Man. He got his vocal
another man's mouth.
Such an obscure.
Pause, man. Pause. Ain't nobody.
What
happened? Well, listen, we can talk about it.
No diddle daddy.
It happened to his mouth, so we can talk about it. Pause.
What is? I'm so confused. What's happening here? Here's Slow-mo.
Oh, you don't have to. It's okay. It's okay to be confused.
I'm really confused. But real quick, I do want to move to Assassin's Creed Shadows. That game was announced as being delayed today. Ubisoft has announced so that instead of launching on November 15th as planned, Assassin's Creed Shadow will now release, slated to come out on February 14th, 2025. Is that Valentine's Day, by the way?
Yeah, it is Valentine's Day.
I mean, maybe that's not a good. I don't know. The way some of these people speak, I don't think they have Valentine's. But Assassin's Creed Shadows will now be released February 14, 2025. While the game is feature complete, the learnings from the Star Wars Outlaws release led us to provide additional time to further polish the title. We also did find out that the game's actually release day one on Steam as well. Star Wars Outlaw, despite I think mostly positive critical reviews, according to Ubisoft, their initial sales proved softer than expected for that game. So,
I wonder if it's because more. You know, I always thought about this when it came to Star Wars games when they don't perform. Is it because people just?
Oh, but one more thing. I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
The traditional season pass model is also out, so all players will be able to enjoy the game at the same time on February 14th.
Oh, so they're learning. Okay, gotcha.
And those who pre-order the game will be granted the first expansion for free.
So
there you go.
So what I was about to say is, I always wondered about Star Wars. So being a Star Wars fan, I really haven't been like I try to geek myself up to buy this Star Wars or even play it in Ubisoft and Uplay or whatever the hell they call it now. And I still didn't do it. It is mostly because I'm just kind of like about anything Star Wars because of the way it's been kind of handled, like just from just the IP in general, not just games, but movies and TV and everything. So I always wonder, like, when it comes to that, how much is bad sales for a Star Wars game due to the fact that people are just not enamored with the IP right now as much as they used to? Because if you go back to like Battlefront and stuff, when EA first did that partnership with Disney, I mean, granted, Battlefront is more of an acquired IP, but those games did great. And then you go to like, Jedi Fallen Order. That game did great because it was like kind of before everything really fell apart for them. But now that everything is like, what is Star Wars right now? What is the identity of it? Like the people, like those extra fans that really are gamers that go out and buy stuff like this, pretty much like how the Spider-Man gamers go out and buy Spider-Man just because it's a Spider-Man game and they want to play as Spider-Man. Star Wars doesn't have that right now from their fan base. And I feel like it really is really hurting those IPs, even if a Star Wars game is like decent, it would sell pretty decently well. And we're not even seeing that from these games anymore.
Yeah,
I think.
go ahead, Ron.
Go ahead. Sorry. I was gonna say, yeah, pretty much the same thing. I mean, Star Wars has kind of taken itself apart lately, so I mean, it's not as beloved as it was. Yeah, I mean, Forte pretty much said it. Like, the IP hasn't done itself any favors. However, the interesting thing is the games have been better than the films.
Than the live action parts.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, there's that to be said too. But I think as for like, was the topic that Outlaws didn't sell as well?
It was a soft performance, is what they stated.
Performance.
Yeah,
that means
But we also have to take into consideration.
Yeah.
We gotta take into consideration that expectations of a Star Wars game is higher sales than what you expect from any other game.
That's
so
true.
Exactly.
with them saying it didn't meet expectations, people take that and then they kind of translate that in their own way of, oh, it's so like dog shit or something. But
yeah.
to them, not meeting expectations could be like 5 or 6 million sold, and if you saw the number, you'd be like, oh, well, I mean, like any other game that sells that in the short period of time that's been out, most people would say, well, that's a success. But then, if it's Star Wars, there's a certain level of expectations that come to play in that, and we know how Disney is. Like, we've seen Disney's contract with Spider-Man with Sony.
Mm-hmm.
They want a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
Like they want a lot of money up front, and considering how Spider-Man's a pretty popular IP, so with Star Wars, if it's a very similar structured contract, they got a year to pay Disney, and we all know how games fall off on sales after like 90 days. You don't really recover. Very few games recover after that 90-day period. If they see that it's just steadily going down and they look at projections, like, we're probably not going to hit the target goal that we need with Disney in this time period, then they're going to say this isn't what we expected. Now, that said, I think Eves and his trash bag of a family, yeah, I said it, were aware of that this was going to turn out the way it was, because Ubisoft has just burned too many bridges with the gaming community in general. I like their games. I like the Division, but like a lot of people are very disappointed with Ubisoft and how they go about game development and all the other scandals that have been a part of situations that we've all found out about internally going on. Just all that said, like, I think they've just used up any credibility that they have, and even when they drop good games like Prince of Persia, Lost Crown, it don't sell well. That the last Assassin's Creed that was more like old school Assassin's Creed that people said they were looking for didn't sell well. So at this point, it's just that it's like, unless it's Assassin's Creed, people are just ignoring what Ubisoft does. And if you think about what the moves they made like a year ago. So a year ago, I remember this vividly. Yves Guillemot, the CEO, wrote like an internal letter to Ubisoft, and then that got leaked out to everyone. It was basically like, hey, we really need these next 2 big games to sell, so buckle in. It was like, it was supposed to be uplifting, but it was more, probably demoralizing the way it was worded. But he was talking about their 2 big license games, Avatar and the Star Wars Outlaws. And we saw how both didn't really sell that great. You add that to the fact that Tencent already owns the maximum amount of shares that they can own in Ubisoft. They made that change right around the time, I think it was like, what's the name of that company? Viacom? No, it wasn't Viacom. I can't remember. Some company was trying to do a hostile takeover of Ubisoft.
Vivendi.
Thank you. Vivendi, yeah. Thank you. So they made a change after that so that like there was a maximum number of shares that you can have to kind of protect Ubisoft from a hostile takeover. Tencent already owns the maximum number that they got. If y'all recall, Tencent made a deal with the Guillemot family trust company. So the way the Guillemot family owns and maintains Ubisoft is they have like a family trust, and that company owns the majority shares in Ubisoft, and that's how they control the company. Tencent now owns like, I can't remember the percentage. It may be close to 50% or something like that, but they invested a lot in not in Ubisoft, but that family trust. So what does that mean? They got their parachute. Because if Ubisoft, like we already see the stock price is tanking. If it gets to the end of the fiscal year and none of their games sold the way they were supposed to, the Guillemot family is just going to check out. Tencent is going to make them an offer. They're going to sell the rest of the family trust ownership into Ubisoft to them, and then Tencent will basically be running Ubisoft at that point, which is not going to be good, because if that happens, then more than likely, Ubisoft has the highest number of employees and teams out there, even more than Microsoft, even now. They're probably, it's going to be a lot of layoffs and a lot of cutting and changing of how they operate once Tencent takes over. But I feel like, unfortunately, that's the result that we're quickly rushing to. Because I mean, like, can anyone think of a Ubisoft game I think Assassin's Creed Shadows will sell well because it's Assassin's Creed, but just that's clearly not going to be enough. And
and also a lot of people have caught on to the Ubisoft pricing formula, right? I can't count how many times I've heard people say, "Man, it looks good, but all you got to do is wait 6 months, or it'll be dropped 50%."
Wait 6 months. You could wait 3 weeks, and the game is going to be damn near half price.
Yep,
that's just how it's always been for many years. Like, you do not have to buy day one on Ubisoft.
Yeah,
true.
Yeah, but the other thing that's going on with Ubisoft.
So high.
Hey, B, you were botting there. I don't know if you're back.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was saying that their games are like their deluxe editions and their special editions. They price them so high because they expect like the loyal fans to come out and purchase them. Then when they don't have good reception, those games are on sale 2 or 3 weeks later after they come out.
Yeah, no, that's a great point, B. The other thing too, B, with the Ubisoft is that there's actually a committee right now that's the executive committee that's under the supervision of the board of directors at Ubisoft is actually getting ready to launch an internal review of its internal practices. The investigation is meant to help it identify the reasons for some of its recent struggles. Ubisoft stock is currently at a decade low, with the company just announcing its Q2 performance failed to meet expectations, much like the Q3 sales of Star Wars Outlaws. Ubisoft is saying that they are, they're looking at, again, improving the execution, notably in this player-centric approach, and accelerating, in quotes, our strategic path towards a higher performing model. So I mean, they are taking a look at what's happening internally. Like, why aren't we meeting our goals internally? Or why are we not hitting our KPIs? Like, what's happening? So And I think their stock price it was like $11 or something. I think I saw.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think at the beginning of the year was that like 60 or something like that.
I don't remember, Slim. I know it's. I obviously it's at a decade low, but it's been dropping. They've had some, and I've also heard rumblings too of there's been issues from a project management perspective and how the studios are ran and managing projects and budgets. That there hasn't been, I guess, they haven't been running at a level of quality that one might expect for a studio. I've heard those rumors. Have you heard anything like that, Slow-Mo?
Yeah, so remember when they made all these reforms or proposed all these reforms due to a history and a culture of racism, sexism.
Yes, I remember that.
All the isms, they got all of them. It's like every ism you could think of is they had it. They proposed a lot of reforms, and a lot of the developers felt like it was just surface level PR. Like they weren't really trying to change things, like the way they were structured. When they got called out for all that stuff, was they had this board, so to speak, and that board would like approve everything. They were like this creative board. All the directors would make their pitches for games to them, and they would say yay or nay. Now, the reason why so many Ubisoft games have that quote unquote Ubisoft format is because the people who ran that board only wanted to play or like a certain kind of game. And there was the games that had that open world, go to a tower, reveal all these, side missions that just were all kind of like a variation of 3 or 4 different missions just thrown all over the map. Just, that kind of format is what they liked. And they didn't like female protagonists, and they didn't like people of color in the games. And there was a lot of directors just basically giving them what they want, because they knew anything else that they put forward would get denied. And so coincidentally, the main sexual harasser in the company was also the guy that led that committee. And the problem, when after they fired that dude, they were forced to fire that dude, he apparently was a very big friend of the Guillermo family, so which is the reason why he was so protected and felt so I guess free to be the kind of piece of garbage human being that he is. But they basically promoted his secondhand man on the committee to take the role that guy just vacated, which to the developers, they were like, this ain't no different. Like, this is business as usual. You just replaced a bad seed with another bad seed. And so it's a lot of things like that. They said they had all these initiatives with HR to kind of like police bad behavior, call out bad behavior, call out how directors were abusing their authority. And there was just basically evidence that none of that stuff was really working the way that they claimed it would be working. And if all that's going on, it wouldn't surprise me at all if the board is getting together and they're just like nothing has really changed. And we need to do some serious reform and fixes if we want to try to, survive as a company. And I mean, I don't know where this goes for them. I don't think it really changes anything in the long and short of it. I think that they're still going to end up getting sold to Tencent. But I mean, good luck to them. We'll see what happens.
It amazes me how we see all of these examples of how garbage human beings run companies in the ground, but yet it still keeps happening.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that's how those circles run. So, it is what it is. But in particular, to speak to the stuff y'all were talking about with Star Wars, because I've actually played like 40 plus hours of it. I definitely get where the soft sales are coming from, personally. The heavy stealth approach is turning off a lot of people, not just because it's stealth alone, but the way they chose to design this game is a really big issue. And what I mean by that is
even after the patch.
I mean, I haven't seen like a new patch that changed the way it was designed. As far as like
they said they were going to change the whole if you get caught in a stealth mission, you got to start over kind of part of the design. They said
that's good news.
Add checkpoints in so that like it's not so harsh on that aspect of things.
So they definitely should have done that. But my issue is her abilities, right? So like for instance, like I asked my friend where she went. She got the platinum already. But I asked her where she went when she left the planet. Did you go to Tatooine first, or the other place like a Varg or something like that? But she told me she went to Tatooine first, but she actually went to the other place. But that was an issue, right? Because the way that they make you get abilities, you have to talk to these specific people in order to at least start to unlock the ability, right? Then to evolve the ability or to get other versions of the ability or other things that enhance it or give you other skills, you have to do a bunch of tasks, right? And you may not get the chance, depending on where you are, to do that specific task or the things that you're focusing on to get that, right? So, like, I got to a point where I ran into a bunch of heavy enemies, and because I didn't go to the other place first, I had not met the expert to give me the weapon to deal with them silently. So, like, that whole situation I was in was 10 times rougher than it was supposed to be. I mean, I got skills, so I got past it, but it's bad
game design.
It's bad game design, exactly. Like, I was like, why would you design it this way when people need these things in order to? It's literally meant to enhance your gameplay, right? Like, emergent gameplay is supposed to be happening, as opposed to like if I think all of you have played Death Stranding in here by now, but that is a perfect example. But regardless, that even if you didn't like it, that is a perfect example of how emergent gameplay should happen. Like, as I need the thing, I should get it. Like, I need this weapon, now I should get it. I shouldn't be running into scenarios beforehand where I feel like, oh, man, that would have been way better if I would have had that thing. And then I go get it later, and then it's like, I don't really need it again. I rarely run into the situation, but like the main time I needed that ability or that thing, I don't have it. And it's like, that happens way too often in this game. And it's not just like one ability, it's like all her abilities are like that. So like I was running from some stormtroopers and some trouble I got in, and there's part of the mission to upgrade your speeder. The expert, when you do the next part, will give you the ability to jump on your speeder, so you can jump over like basically what is essentially a spike strip for a for a speeder. So it's just lasers, but you could jump over them. But if you don't do that thing, you can't do that skill. So it's like there's no, like, it's instead of basically they tried a very non-organic way of evolving the character, when what they should have done is control, at least exert more control over, at least if they wanted you to meet these experts specifically, they should have controlled the order in which you went to meet them, so that you're not running into a bunch of scenarios where you'd be without these devices. Like, a lot of these things, like I said, she has very basic versions of them to start with, but like I went to, for instance, I went to go get the splicing tech, like the increase in splicing tech, which is basically just hacking for people who don't know what that is. But if I didn't go get that in the mission that I did later, again, that mission would have been 10 times harder, and half the doors I would have came across, I wouldn't have been able to unlock, or I would have had to go around about a different way. And again, it makes everything harder and more frustrating for people because as opposed to other games that you play, like Assassin's Creed and all these other games, right? You always have the tools, basically it's really just options for you. You know what I mean? You're like, yo, how many options do I want? How many ways can I go about doing this mission, basically? And you could pick, choose, and refuse. But in this way, you're so limited if you haven't gone around and gotten all these abilities. And I definitely get the frustration with people, and like you said, it's just very, very bad game design, and I'm not sure you can fix it without overhauling the entire ability system, because now you've made all these people and these experts, right, for you to interact with, and it's like they would literally have to revamp that whole system to maybe like some sort of like holotech, like where hey, you're introduced to this person, and now once you unlock the ability, now you'll get skill points to go further, and they'll talk you. They can still talk to you and still let you evolve the abilities, but having to go back and forth, hey, make Nyx do a backflip. Hey, go over here, fight 15 enemies at once and do this. Like, that is annoying when you're trying to just be immersed in this world, because when you are immersed in that world, like, you really feel like it. You know what I'm saying? You feel like the female Han Solo. Like, that part of it is wonderful. Like, when you're just in the zone and you're like, yo, I'm that person. You know what I'm saying? I'm that smuggler. Like, who wants some? You know what I'm saying? And you just upgraded your gun. You know what I'm saying? And you're like, yo, I'm about to go up to the spot in the space station. I'm about to blow everybody out the water. Like, you feel like that person at times. But then when all these task-oriented things are constantly interrupting that immersion, like, they're breaking it, which is so weird to me, by the way, because I'm such a big Assassin's Creed fan, and they don't do that. Like, everything is still, even though Valhalla, a lot of people don't feel how you want about it, but even in that massive open world, they still manage to guide you to get each thing you need to upgrade your assassin abilities, and then they do exactly what I said. They give you, it unlocks it on the skill tree, then you can upgrade it further from there, so you're not constantly being interrupted. Everybody knows when you get your hidden blade, right? That's a big thing in Assassin's Creed. But once you get it, you start to upgrade these skills, and you're no longer interrupted, and you can kind of focus on and do what you want to do in that world. And that's where they really had a big miss. And it's even more frustrating early on because she is so limited in her skills. So a lot of people are not going to get to the point where they get through the grind in the beginning, where they get to a lot of the cool stuff in this game. And honestly, the big part of that is how they design the game, sadly. So
that's really disappointing. I was looking forward to immersing in the Star Wars world and everything. Like, everything about it looked so much fun, like immersing in the world.
Yeah.
Like, every bit of feedback I've seen from it is, as far as the Star Wars world, it's very immersive and it's very well done. But between the stealth missions, which it sounds like they kind of addressed, that was a main criticism. And with your skills, like, I haven't. You're the first person who's gone in depth about the the skills and upgrades and things like that. But yeah, that's really a shame. And then I hear it's from the same team that did The Division, and that why they didn't go with their specialty with The Division, and everything, like, why they didn't do that is just seems really, really weird. So, like, yeah,
well, it just seems like someone really, really wanted you to go talk to these experts. And again, nothing, I completely cool with doing that initially, right? You always get introduced to a vendor in a game or something like that, but then they usually make it they gamify the way you proceed thereafter, where you can just upgrade on the fly. You can call them like, this is the future. I mean, it's Star Wars. You can call them on the phone or the holo or whatever they call it in Star Wars. I don't know. And just, they could talk you through the upgrade. Hey, I see you got the parts. Let's go ahead and upgrade your speeder, or let's go ahead and upgrade your gun, or whatever the thing is, right? And it's like constantly pulling you out of that immersion that is so great in this. Sucks. But I will say, hey, look, if it's on sale later, I definitely recommend it. We all know it will be. It's a Ubisoft game. Black Friday's coming up. You probably could pick up the game for, $20, $25 at some point. So I wouldn't say it's a bad purchase at that point. Just be prepared to take your time with it in the beginning. And by the time y'all get it, it definitely sounds like, what Slow-Mo was saying, they will have adjusted some parameters to make a lot of that stuff less frustrating. So I think a lot of people will still enjoy it. So I'm not saying write it off. Like, I don't hate it. I'm just very particular in these things because I've played so many games. When you've played so many games the way that we have, we are going to dig in and really notice the systems at work and be like, why was that designed that way? So yeah, I'm not saying it's like not, but just pick it up on sale if you're still interested, especially if you really love Star Wars. I personally, funny enough, don't even really like Star Wars like that. I'm a Star Trek person, but I still think the world is incredibly immersive. And if you've ever wanted to be in the Star Wars universe, there's nothing like this game. So yeah, I definitely give it that.
Yeah,
that helps. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Ramon.
No, I was just gonna say I'm a casual Star Wars fan, but I do like the world. So like, you know, I was really looking forward to the story and the immersion. And quite frankly, I like what I've seen of K-Vest. Like, she looks really interesting.
Yeah, all that stuff is really cool still. So like I said, pick it up on sale, especially because I'm pretty sure you're going to play it on PC, and it looks phenomenal on PC. And the performance will be really dialed in. The patches will have been out, and you'll get some solid performance out of that 4070. So yeah, I definitely say enjoy it on PC. If you got the rig for it, visual fidelity and everything is phenomenal. I can't tell you anything about performance because I have a 4090. So we all know how that goes. I just hit max and hit go. So that's not fair.
Yeah.
But you guys get it.
Yeah, you don't look at sliders.
No, I don't look at that. Yeah,
like wrinkles his nose.
I do think that when the question about why did they make this game the way they did when they make the Division, I think there was an idea of how the game was supposed to be made, and then they chose the team to do it. So it wasn't like organic where hey, make a Star Wars game. And then go for it. You be creative and work with Disney and Lucasfilm, and you come out with a game. And then they did that. I think there was an idea of what the game was supposed to be from the very start. And they chose the studio that would get it done the quickest. And Massive Entertainment, I think, kind of got a raw deal here because they were making 2 big AAA games at once. They were doing Avatar. Like, that Avatar came out, last November? So they dropped a big AAA game and then dropped another big AAA game this summer. So it's just, that's a lot to do for a studio that does looter shooters. And I think Ubisoft chose them because it was more convenient to get those games out as quickly as possible, because the game engine, Snowdrop, they made that game engine. So instead of having, say, the Assassin's Creed team, one of the Assassin's Creed teams do this game, which would have made way more sense considering the kind of games that they make, but telling them, hey, look, to really get this done as quickly as possible, we need you to use the Snowdrop engine. You're not familiar with that yet. So Massive is going to help you with that. That just takes longer. So they just said, no, Massive, just do both of them. We'll just give you more people and more support teams, and you do both of them. And then you get the end result where they make some decisions that's just kind of like, that's not how modern games of this ilk do this kind of stuff. And some really interesting design decisions that if a more experienced team in that genre would have did it, they would have made different decisions. And it is what it is. I mean, but I think this is, if Ubisoft had better management, this would be something that, they could have been figured out and kind of avoided those kind of bad mistakes.
Yeah,
those are great points. No, gentlemen, and Nate, I appreciate your walk through the game. I mean, I haven't played it, so I certainly appreciate that. But
absolutely,
but I do need to wrap up the show. It's 11:15 here. I have to get to bed. I have to get up early tomorrow morning. But I want to thank, first of all, I want to thank everyone in the live chat for coming out and hanging out with us this evening. Really appreciate all the super chats, the support. And if you haven't done so already, please hit that like button. If you're new, consider subscribing, hitting the bell notification so you are alerted when we go live. Big shout out to our guests this evening, Nate and Ramon Terrell, and Slow-Mo and Forte. You guys have a show tomorrow, I think, right?
Yes, we
I don't know. Do we?
You're supposed to be hosting it, so.
Oh, are we? Okay.
You don't sound so excited, Forte.
He never is excited to do his own show. Anyone like even hints at him guesting on the show, he's there in a heartbeat. His own show, he don't even know when to start.
That is BS.
That is not BS.
That is BS. I haven't been on anybody.
1,000% facts.
I haven't been on anybody's show, really. I'm just talking. I was just actually just being funny. I know I'm hosting tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I was, you know what it is?
Mm-hmm.
It's more of the preparation when you say it. I'm sitting there like, as soon as you said it's tomorrow, I gotta.
Oh man,
do I want to do it tonight or do I want to do it tomorrow? So now I need to do it tonight.
Well, go ahead and plug the show, Slow-Mo Forte.
Oh yeah, DBS.
Yeah.
That he don't want to do.
No, I'm gonna plug the show. You know what? Hey, shout out. First of all,
sorry to inconvenience you, but I'll be looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll plug the show because I plug it like no other. First of all, shout out to the 76 people here. We expect to see all you guys on the DPS channel tomorrow because not only do you support BRAP, you support Slow-Mo and Forte. We appreciate you guys and everything that you bring. It's going to be a great show at 9:00 Eastern time tomorrow on the DPS channel. If you want to see bad acronyms and misspelled names and misspelled everything else, come over to the show because most of the time it's not my fault, it's Slow-Mo's fault, and we can argue about it in the chat. I appreciate you guys. Hope to see you guys there and enjoy the games that you guys are playing.
I would just like to correct the record that I have never misspelled the title. Or
are you sure? Whoa! That is a major thing that you are saying that you have never done.
Yeah, I've never done it, and you do it every single week. And over.
That's
so
funny.
you're basically
saying in over almost 100 episodes of you hosting, you have never misspelled anything.
Not a single time.
Okay.
This is why you need to go check out the show tomorrow because this is part of what you will get outside of the great conversation around gaming.
I don't even know if Ramon loves you, and I don't even think he would co-sign that.
No man.
If I told Ramon, life or death, did he do it? Would you put life or death that he never, ever, one time in 100 episodes of hosting, never misspelled something in the title or in the comment or in the topic list? Would you take that deal?
Well, I gotta.
I won't say for your life. I wouldn't say for your life because your life is more important than this.
Well, no, I get it. It's a scenario, but we also have to go with the words that were said. And he kind of did say, "I've never misspelled the title of the show." He didn't say, "I've never misspelled anything." He did say the title. Oh, so you never? So have you ever misspelled anything, Slow-Mo? You willing to go that far?
Let's see here. Let me think. Never misspelled the title. That's a guarantee. I may have misspelled a topic once.
So title with over 100 episodes almost. Not over. We're close to 100.
We're close to 200 episodes.
So it's been 100. So 100 episodes for him almost. You would do that. You would back him 100% on that.
I mean,
don't stutter.
I think I have seen him misspell something before. Not the title, but I have seen him misspell something before.
Okay.
But I do get great entertainment with.
Oh, I do it once every week.
And and also some of the words that you use that they're pronounced correctly. They're just the wrong words, and I love it.
Like Dan and Dan. Like Dan and Dan. Yeah, I know.
That's fine.
Sometimes I do.
He claims he does it on purpose.
No. I don't.
This.
This is the problem.
We have worked on things. No way. We have worked on things, and it's just me and him in Discord working on something, and he'll be trying to type it, and I can see, I can hear his fingers killing his keyboard as he hits 3 keys at once, and it's just like, he ain't doing this by accident. This
no. It's a difference.
I mean, no, he is doing this by accident because he can't help himself. He just
I'm gonna
type anything.
No, I'm gonna give a little background to this. I have never been the type of person that like to do anything live in front of somebody, especially typing and stuff. And you were looking at my screen because we were actually doing it on my screen. So I was a little nervous. And that's why I would never try to do anything like that. Second of all, my biggest thing is
you were nervous that I was watching you type.
Anybody, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Middle school.
My mom.
Here?
No. Listen, my mom could be watching me do something on my computer that I'm doing, and I don't know. It's just a thing. I've never ever was able to get over that. Second thing is the only one thing I will take 100% fault is I don't proofread after I type it. Like I type it and I know exactly what it says, and I don't go back through it again. So that's what it is. So let's get out of here. We hope to see. Now we have 72 people here, so we expect to see you guys at DPS tomorrow.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Good night. Goodbye. We'll see you guys. I don't know, maybe a BRAP rant later this week, but big shout out B. Thank you, sir. Great seeing you as well.
I was about to say.
That's what I was trying to say. Like, make sure you talk to you guys. Shout B out. You know?
Yeah, B. Great to see you, man.
We don't need to have the same situation we had 2 years ago.
Oh, we didn't talk about that. Yeah. No, B, great to see you though, man. Thank you for stopping by. Especially after the
Legacy of Kane remaster.
Yeah, especially after the triumphant victory of the Washington Commanders. But anyhow, go check out DPS tomorrow. Big thank you to our guests again, Nate and Remote Terrell, and may do a BRAP rant later this week. Good luck with the PS5 pre-orders tomorrow. Take care.
Man, speaking of